All right, welcome back. Nobody Named Kevin podcast. We are on number 18. First things first. Anybody in the room named Kevin?
Not at all.
Nope, never.
I don't think I am, so I think we're good.
All right, bro. So
Also, don't forget to
like, comment, subscribe, man.
Oh yeah,
Boom, boom.
y'all better do that too.
Yeah, bro. Sell out. You gotta always let them know. People are dumb. You gotta let them know early.
So, like I was saying, I got to get all the sand out of my house, and because I thought all the sand was off my feet, because I used somebody else's towel to clean my feet before we left, and they were dry. But right before we started, I turned my shoe upside down over the trash can, and it just it was like there was a whole extra 3 pounds of sand per shoe that I would hit. But that's all I was saying with that. Because then now it's below, it's under my computer desk too. So now there's gonna be this fairy dust trail all throughout the house.
Anytime you got some nice clean shoes on, do you have hardwood or do you have carpet?
No, thank God I have wood.
Okay, so what's gonna be funny about this, and this is what I hate about having tile, wood, or anything like that. You're gonna get some nice shoes on, you'll be feeling ready to go, and when you walk, you're just gonna feel that you're not actually making contact, and you're just gonna slide. I hate that feeling so much, man. It just makes me feel like I have a dirty house, and it just eats at me.
Well, it was also funny, trying to explain my logic for what. Because I had the all white Janowskis on, and my friend was like, "Dude, why are you wearing the all whites to the beach?" I'm like, "Well, no," and I showed him the edges of both of my toes on both shoes. I'm like, "No, that means I've already skated them, so I've decided these are my trash shoes now. The other shoes are in the closet for normal wear." I'm like, anything can happen to these. They're gonna get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of all right, whatever. You know, you don't even make no sense to me, but
dude,
whatever, sounds great.
Even then, bro, I've still when we went to the beach, I think 2 or 3 years ago at this point, dude, I still have sand in my car from that. I hate it so much, dude. I hate the beach. I hate sand with a passion because you never get rid of it. It is just like glitter. It is always there, and there's nothing you can do, no matter how thorough of a cleaning you do. I hate it, dude. Same, everyone's like, "Oh, I want to go to the beach and feel the sand in between my toes." That, to me, is the absolute worst feeling. You do that to me, I might give you the launch codes.
Well, my thing is, I guess maybe it feels different other places because, I had the sand between my toes today. It burns. My friend got a blister playing sand volleyball because the sand was so hot because I played in my shoes. Because then I'd walk shoeless across the beach to get to the water, and I'd be like, "Okay, guys, can we go? Can we go?" Because they'd be like, "Oh, I was drunk people. It's like, oh wait, my drink. Oh wait, this." I'm like, "Dude, we gotta go. My feet are on fire," and I'm just power walking to the water. So I don't know why sand between your toes feels good. That burns.
I don't know. I guess it depends on where you're at, or maybe it's just an expression that really makes no sense. Because I get the idea of oh, you put your feet in it, it's warm. But dude, every time I've gone, it has not been warm. It has been burning hot. The only time that it feels good is if you walk into the water and you come out and your feet are already wet to protect you from the heat.
Yeah, or if you stand right where the tide ends, or it's wet, moist on the sand. Or if you go at nighttime, and walk around at nighttime, bro, and then it's not very hot.
I think you're right. I think it's that first 2 feet of water. It has a good texture to it because it's cold. It's not really cold, but it's bearable, and you can
good mush.
Move your feet in between the sand. Yeah, it's something like that.
Even then, to me, the beach is one of those things. It sounds better in theory. It's better in theory than actually being there. Because, dude, the best time I had at the beach that when we went was going to the bar that was on the beach and just chilling at the bar, listening to like karaoke, listening to the waves. That was super relaxing. I super enjoyed that. Actually being there at the beach, cool. Like, I had great experience, but I have no interest to really ever go back to the beach. Like, it is not something I put on like, oh, these are one of the things I would love to go do again. Like, one time was enough for me. I don't care.
I enjoy it. I think it's relaxing.
Like, what is that to you? Like, why is it like that for you?
I don't know. Do you just get away from everything? I don't know. You're just chilling on the beach all day. Like, you're drinking or you're eating or you're just having a good time. You're away from everything, and you're on a beach and you're just chilling by the ocean, dude. And you're either listening to it or you're swimming in it, or you're just relaxing. And like,
for me, I'd rather.
I don't know.
I'd rather go to the mountains, man.
Oh, okay. There you go. Like, everyone has their own thing.
Because instead
can be relaxing too.
My thing with the mountains is it's relaxing. Same thing. You've got sounds of nature. The other part about being in the mountains, not many people are there. So beach can be crowded. Mountains, it's very rare that you'll ever see mountains crowded. Go out there.
Depends if you're like on a very busy trail or not. I mean, one of the hikes we did in Arizona was fairly busy, but then some of the other ones were not.
Well, see, like the times I've gone to the mountain, it's like we're going to this place. They have like maybe 20 cabins that you can rent out. You rent those out. Majority of people are going to the lake to fish, so that's your hot spot of people. Other than that, people aren't really walking around all that much because there's not like organized trails. So like when I was younger, it's like, okay, hey, we're bolting up the side of this mountain. We'll just see how far we get and what we run into.
You're going up a non-organized trail the side of a mountain. What mountain are you climbing up?
The mountain didn't have like a specific name because like where it was at in New Mexico, it's just mountains. Like I don't think each individual mountain has a name because there's nothing overly distinct about them, if that makes sense.
I don't know, dude. The few that we did in like Arizona, I don't think we did any in New Mexico, but they were like trails. Like we looked them up and like these are like there's like a sign at the front and there's other hikers going up and down it. It's still pretty like we drove 4 miles into the desert, then hiked like 3 or 4 miles up something. But still there was quite a few people. But we did get lost at one point. We actually took a wrong turn. Luckily, this lady had like a Pathfinder app. She's like, you're supposed to go this other way. But because she got lost too. But dude, I don't think even the one time I've been up Mount Guadalupe, I think that's in Texas, or maybe on the edge of New Mexico, that still had like it was nature, but there was a general trail that people followed that you can see where footwork go. I've never just like trekked up the side of a mountain like that. It sounds so intense.
It's not that intense. Like the best way I can describe it, because like the section I like used to go to, and I want to go back because it's a good time, nice, relaxing. But essentially, when you're driving up there, like you need to chew gum and stuff like that so your ears pop. So you're already up into the mountains and everything like that. Then you're just staying on a little hill, and it's not like I'm hiking for hours. It's like go up the side of a mountain. There is no turns. You're just going up the side of a mountain. It's not overly
I've only done
steep.
Like trails,
and then you just walk straight back down.
I've never done like just like I picture you're just like throwing up like a pickaxe or something, like ching and just like pulling yourself up.
So
like,
no,
Batman repel.
Yeah. It's literally it's just walking, and then after a little while you'll notice the deer trails, so you can just walk up the deer trails, so it's not as arduous. And then like I remember the coolest thing about it was like we just decided like, all right, this is where we're gonna go up. We just did different sections each day. The best part was finding like old abandoned like log forts that people had built up there.
Kind of like you described at the beginning, like mountains are for introverts. You know what I mean? Like everything you said, you're like isolation, no people, all these things. Like I had fun because everyone I was with was extroverted, and we started playing volleyball, and we don't really know how to play volleyball, but like we were short a few people, so my buddy just walks up to these cute chicks, just hey, we need 3 people, and they're like, okay. So we're just playing with these strangers, and that's fun. And then we're getting them in on like these inside jokes, and like we're messing with them. And then like fast forward 2 hours later, it happened again. Like those chicks had left. We needed another team to play against, so there's like 3 guys, 3 girls. We're like, hey, volleyball, and they're like, sure. And like that's just fun, like to have that.
Like, I'm not big on overly socializing with random people, but that, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I guess it is kind of an introverted thing, but it's also like, I don't know, I guess I enjoy the mountains for the simple fact of like, I feel at ease with nature and everything like that. And then like, it's just solitude and being able to think through your thoughts and stuff like that in a relaxing environment. Whereas like, dude, the beach is just too much go, 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 go for me. Like, I feel like I'm constantly having to look out, keep my eyes out. Like, I don't know, dude, the beach just wasn't for me. I just preferred the mountains.
I mean, I get the beach has more people, I guess, like, because no one's really moving. It's all in one spot. But to me, it's not go, 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 go. You're just like, you're just laying there, dude. Like, or you're just chilling.
You also got to have, like, I think if you have, like, a group, because here's the thing, because I will say I kept looking over my shoulder because like all my belongings are at the tent. Like I don't like that.
Okay, yeah.
So, but it's so funny because one of our other buddies, like there was this chick, like she wasn't in our tent, but they were kind of using the shade from our tent to hang out, like off to it. And we were all going to the water, and he turned to them. He's like, "Hey, y'all watch our stuff while we're gone." And they're like, "Okay, sir." And we just walked off. So that kind of just happened. And then, like, I don't know, like, whatever, they were chill, but that was the only thing. They're like, Devin, why do you keep tweaking? Like, you're looking back. I'm like, our stuff's over there. So that is the only thing.
Yeah.
That is the only thing, checking on your stuff. But,
dude, I guess it's maybe that is, like, that idea that I always have to be on guard there. And I'm always having to look over my shoulder, make sure stuff's not having on. I guess it's because I'm semi-paranoid, man. Like, if we're walking in like a mall or something like that and someone's walking fast-paced behind me, I'm checking over my shoulder. I don't know why, but every time what flashes through my head is like, they're just going to knife you in the back and they're going to run. And you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Like, there's just always that thought in my mind, so I can't let my guard down. And it's like the same thing at the beach. I just can't let my guard down. Whereas in the mountains, it's like, you can let your guard down. You don't have to really worry about other people at all. The only thing you got to worry about is just make sure you don't walk up on any dangerous animals. And if you do, back away and hope that it didn't notice you.
And that's the thing, too. I'm like, I mean, like a half goat man could jump out, and like you don't know how to take it on. You know what I mean? Like if an animal comes out, you're not winning. If it's a big animal, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I think the most dangerous thing I came across was like a rattlesnake.
Yeah, no, I've ran across bears.
Threw a rock at it to get it to. Oh nope.
Yeah,
I'd be
like
scared,
because
dude.
of where we were, like, dude, it's cabins, it's somewhat civilized, but a bear can still just wander in. So like, you look outside, you see the bears just kind of nosing around and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, just give it time, it'll go away. It's not gonna break in here. It doesn't care to do that. Like,
hey man, you got a bear out there sniffing your trash, and like, keep going, keep your distance. He's fine.
And it's not even that.
He can have
they
the
essentially
trash.
just tell you, like, hey, there's a bear outside your cabin. Don't go outside. Like, okay. You just chill. And, of course, you're in nature, so you're like, I want to see the bear. It's like the same thing with, like, a car wreck. You don't want to look away. You're like, that's pretty interesting. Because you don't get to see them in their natural habitat like that unless you're, like, a hunter. So it's like, it's cool to see them just kind of like, this is weird, and sniff around a little bit, and then they just wander off.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't mess with no bear, dude.
Dude, I did gross out my girlfriend a little bit when I told her about, like, cleaning out the guts of a fish. And she was like, you used to do that? It's like, yeah, it was just normal. She was like, you know how to clean one. I'm like, yeah, you just cut its head off, gut it down the middle, push out the guts. Like, it's not that hard.
I've seen someone do it. I don't care to learn.
It depends on how you clean them, because you can fillet them, which is more difficult because you have to kind of know what you're doing to avoid the bones. But it was just trout, so like you can literally just chop the head off, cut the center, push it out.
Dude, Selena, bro, she knows how to kill chickens. She was like at a young age. Yeah. She had to learn how. She was like, they made me learn like where our food comes from. And go to the back, like snap its neck.
Yeah, you could snap the neck. The typical technique, like most people will just grab the head and then just sling it really hard so it snaps.
Okay, that sounds.
I've seen that a few times.
Like whip it,
dude. That's like literally part of that culture.
Yeah.
You ask any Hispanic person, it's usually their great-great-grandmother or their grandmother did it. Like, you just pop the head off like that. But here's the thing. You got to commit. You know what I mean? Because you can't be like, swing and then bitch out. Because then now you're just dangling its neck. It's like, that's such a – I've never done it. But you just like – you can visualize like that's a full-on commit. Like, as soon as you cock back, you got to go all the way through the chicken and pop its head off. And I love that y'all are bringing this up because this is exactly what started the healthy conversation at work the other day. Do you take on 50 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? Because we got on the topic of breaking the necks, and it was like, okay, well, these ducks are kind of like chickens. Do you take 50 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
50 duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
Because, like, at that point, dude, I can stomp on them. It may get a little overwhelming, but, like, dude, because I'm assuming no weapons, obviously, because if you have a weapon, it's like, okay, well, then give me the duck that's that big, like, couple rounds in it, you can take that out, but, like.
Well, wait, how big are these ducks, dude? Because are we saying, like,
he literally
a little
said,
tiny duck?
No. He said a duck-sized.
Not a duckling.
A duck's the size of a horse, or 50 horses the size of a duck.
That's what I'm saying. The size of a duck.
50,
the size of a duck
is 50. They're not ducklings. They're not ducklings. They're ducks.
So it's like these are like good sized ducks.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what
I
I'm saying.
So I don't know if you could take this. So these are like 50 miniature horses.
And that's what everyone said. Everyone said I could stomp them out. And I'm like,
could you?
That's what everyone said.
Dude, you gotta.
Now you're gonna get overwhelmed. You're gonna get overwhelmed.
Ducks are a little bigger than that, bro. They're pretty big when they're fully grown, dude.
Here's my argument, dude. Like, geese and stuff like that have that killer instinct. Ducks have it too. The size of that bill, they don't have to know what they're doing. Like, they can just snatch and it'll hurt. But me, on the other hand, like, dude, horses aren't like, they're herbivore. Like, they're not hunting. It's not what they do. It's a prey animal. So their killing power has been taken away because they don't have the size anymore.
But, dude, here's the other thing that makes it cumbersome is because there's 50 of them, and the power they have of their kick, I understand, is scaled down. But you both have taken a skateboard to the shin. That's by accident. The horse is on purpose. Once they see that you're attacking them and they just start bucking at you, you're going to get your ankles broke. Probably.
I know.
They break.
No.
Dude.
I don't know. How
bad does it hurt to catch a shinner? Dude, my
don't get me wrong.
Like yellow right now.
The difference is, though, taking a shinner,
7 plywood.
You're not fighting. Like, it's different. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but, like, since being Quentin used to box and do stuff like that, when you know that's a potential and stuff like that, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt, like, as bad. Like, you're still in it. You may feel the pain, but you can still push yourself through it because you know it's a fight. Like, your body's kind of prepared for it. Whereas, like, dude, I'm sure if I punched Quentin in the leg and he knew it was coming, not as bad. But if he's not paying attention and I just cold cock him in the leg and dead leg him, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
There's like that instinct of knowing it's coming that you can kind of prepare for the hit. It doesn't hurt that bad.
I kind of feel like it would be a lot easier just to take on the one horse-sized duck, but a little more disturbing.
Here's the problem. It can fly.
Oh, what? If
it's scaled up and everything like that, the bone density versus its lift, still keeps that, right?
It can't like
ducks
take
can
off
like
and like
glide.
it can't like yeah, it can't maintain flight around you and stuff because it could do the same thing of like it could come at you a little bit faster with a glide. Yeah.
So wait, so now you're taking out the variable that the duck can fly.
Ducks can't.
But dude,
ducks can fly. No, they don't. They fly. So where do you think they migrate to?
No, dude, not all ducks. I'm picturing like a park duck.
That's what I was thinking.
Park ducks fly. What are you talking about?
Do they really fly?
Ducks fly.
Dude, I go to the park regularly, and they glide and then just get in the water. They don't take flight and just.
They're landing. Oh my god!
Someone pull up a video. Screen share of a duck taking flight.
They literally migrate.
No, like, okay.
Oh my god! Like, how do y'all not know that ducks fly?
I have to look.
All ducks fly. Like, this is fact.
All of them?
Yes.
All of them?
Unless their wings have been clipped like any other bird, ducks fly. And if y'all don't know this, like, I am kind of worried.
I'm surprised because we're the people that go outside. So yes, I'm very surprised by this.
Dude,
I know they migrate. I know they migrate south for the winter.
It says ducks are incapable of flying. Most species of ducks have wings that are short, strong, and pointed to accommodate the bird's need for fast, continuous strokes. As many duck species migrate long distances in the winter months, but not all ducks fly. Okay, that's confusing.
Okay,
so not all of them fly.
So
okay,
some fly, some don't. So we're both technically right in this. But if you're picking a flightless bird, I don't know. So I feel like it takes out the scale of the fight.
Domestic birds. Most of the domestic ones have lost ability to fly.
Okay,
but if domestic. You go to the east,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what I was saying. Like in my brain, I picture a park duck that can just do short little glides. That's, you know what I mean. So this. Okay, so what were you saying is going to be more gruesome, though, Schwinn? How you're taking down this giant duck?
Well, because I'm picturing, like, this cute little duckling, you know, but in a giant form and it's, like, snapping its neck or slitting its throat with something. So, and it looks really gruesome because it's so fluffy.
Here's your only thing. The thing that you may have going in your favor is if it keeps the bone density.
Why is that in my favor?
Birds' bones are hollow. That's why they can fly. So their bones break very easily. Like, that's your only advantage. Because, like, in this scenario, I'm imagining no weapons. Because if you have weapons, like, it's obvious. Like, you can easily take out. Actually. Yeah, like you can easily take either out. So, like, the only thing that, like, advantage-wise, is if it keeps the same bone density and stuff, you might be able to break some bones and hobble it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, dude. That would have to be easier than 50 duck-sized horses.
See, what I'm thinking with the giant duck, though, and I thought you were going here, Schwinn. You run at it, right? You can grab, like, you just gave all weight and squeeze that neck, lean back. Like, rear naked choke a neck with no actual choke to it. You're just full body weight. You know, just lean back and see if it snaps, and it's like hold it till it chokes.
You're not picturing wild animal, though. You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you were able to just grab a park duck? Like, they're still agile. It's not like it's gonna be easy for you to get on the back of it.
They are fast.
They are fast, but this is a horse-sized one.
It's a little bit slower. I would imagine faster,
bigger things are not faster. Things are not always faster.
So my argument,
horses are still pretty fast.
My argument to that would be like both of them are still going to be fast if you scale everything up just by the fact of like the mechanics.
Like game mechanics.
So
dog.
Like I don't know how to describe it. Like
it meets me. That's why it meets me. You know, it goes for the peck. I'm going for it, snap.
Tap for the juke.
That's where we differ.
I'm waiting to hear that tap, that flipper.
I imagine it'd be able to keep the speed a little bit, but even then, dude, like you forget how quick they are. Even slowed down, dude. They catch insects. Like that's what they do for food. Insects that know they're coming too. Like, they're not slow moving at all. So, like, even if we scale it up, I still feel like the speed is still incredibly fast.
Yeah, I think they would still be pretty quick.
If the beat gets you, like, you know, it's big enough to kind of like clamp a third of my arm and bite down hard. Like, I'm already like pretty damaged. And also, like, you have to go for like the guillotine, the rear naked choke basically on it, because you can't swing on it. Because if you swing and all you catch is feather, you wasted a punch. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of problems to fighting the giant duck.
My other thing is with the horses too. Like, okay, well, they scale down, dude. Like, they're like, they may be fast, but like they're scaled down, so their legs are shorter. So speed's. I feel like if we're going by the same logic, the duck is gonna slow down. I feel so are the horses.
I think because they're so fast though, it's gonna be like a race tier Chihuahua. It can really take off. But again, why are we worried about taking off? Because you're just trying to outkick these things. You know, you're just trying to get one down, stomp it. Well, they're pretty lean.
I guess
a lot of muscle.
I guess
bite the curb.
I guess to a degree, but like, I don't know, dude. Like, a duck's maybe this big? Maybe. I feel like I could take a horse that size. I feel like I could take multiple that size. Because, like, the main thing is you're gonna get swarmed. Okay, yeah, but they're not pack. Like, they're pack animals, but they're not gonna understand how to like swarm you. They have nothing to grab onto you with. Like, if it was dogs or something like that, they have teeth to latch on and keep a hold of you with. Like, a horse has teeth, but I don't know if it could hold on to you that much.
Dude, yeah,
horse bites, bro.
Like, they bite, but like, I don't know. Like, you can slip out of a horse bite because like the teeth are, I don't know how to describe it. Like, you can still slip out of it, and like when it's scaled down like that, I feel like I'll still be able to slip out. Dude, I'm not saying I get out clean, but
a disturbing image would be like a horse-sized Chihuahua that's like always skitzing. Like, that would freak me out. I would be very scared of that.
Big and buggy their eyes are. Ew.
Dude, they're just like, they're like.
I think the other thing too with the horses is that how long can they buck? Because you can just go stand on a table until they kind of stop their bucking session, then hop down and fight them.
Well, so that's your argument.
If there's a bench nearby, I mean, whatever.
But that's
you're just in a white room.
This is all happening in a park.
So here's my argument with that, though, is like settlers used to have to run horses forever, like riding them till they died and stuff like that. You can get a horse going for quite a while. Like think about people even riding them around and stuff like that. Like, they can go for a while if they're pushed to do so. Like, you're like, oh, the bucking one. Yeah, it calms down once you're off of it and it understands, okay, I don't have to do this anymore. You're off of me.
So,
I think it's the better option, but I just like 50 is a lot, dude. Because, like, at the park, like, I've seen like 8 ducks walk up on me. And I'm just like, that times like 5.5. I'm like, that's a lot of horses, man.
It is. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna be a clean fight, but I just don't think
it's some gang violence.
Dirty. There's gonna be some below the belt shots.
My thing is with like the horse-sized duck too. Like, you got to think the feet are scaling up too. Yeah. Well, all it takes is like it just getting on top of one of your legs, and like you're not going anywhere. Because, like, to me, my argument would be, like, ducks probably don't hunt with their feet all that often. But, like, dude, they're still a bird. Like, if you believe in evolution, that's probably still in there somewhere that they understand, like, oh, I can use my feet.
Well, they use their feet to swim. They have some muscle there. And, like, the one that plays the bongo drums, they can like, rapid kick you.
I don't know, dude. I think either fight you could win. I just don't think you get out very easily in both of them. Like, I think you get nicked up pretty bad in either one. Like, I don't think this is a slam in one way or the other.
The slam dunk murder, dude.
I feel like out of the two, I guess the the 50's the better. But it's just like there's a lot of factors there.
Yeah, because like my thing with the 50 is like I think it was the same thing I had with the other question that we asked. Is it's like just the killing power, man. I just don't know if the 50 horses will have the killing power.
No, like you said, they don't have the mob mentality, or not mob mentality.
Like they may have like pack mentality and stuff like that, but even then, like I don't know. Like they're scaled down now, so like their killing power, I feel, is kind of negated by that. Because the reason why like a horse is so deadly is because of how big it is and how hard it can hit. Whereas if you're scaling it down, like it'll hurt, but I just don't know how it kills you. Because, like, same thing, like, shinner to the leg hurts. Like, shinner to the head would hurt, too. But even then, it's going to take a lot to kill you.
Yeah, but it would be tearing you down like a building. Like, you just get, like, you know, like 30 shinners and, like, a bunch of kicks to the ankle. It's just a chance that you go down and you're like, crap, dude. Like, you slip and fall. Now they have access to your like, you know, your abdomen. And they're kicking you in the gut, and so they kick you right in the solar plexus. Now you're doubled over, and then now they have your face.
I don't know. I just feel to be
40 of them left to just stomp.
I really think they're more difficult than the one.
I don't know, dude, because like here, it only takes the duck getting you one time good.
The size of a skateboard, and you cut it in half, and there's like your little duck horse, and so you got like generally, so there's two. Right. And they're just coming at you, and they're going to be able to kick you as hard or make it feel like a skateboard flying at you. I mean, that is going to hurt.
That's just it. That like I think about 50? It, and, like, dude, like here's my thing: horses don't have that much power in the way that you're describing. Like for a horse to have power, it has to turn and kick. All the power's in the back leg, the front leg, like. The reason why you're scared of the front legs is not for the fact that like it can hit you with it.
No, I'm not saying the front legs. I'm saying where they would like hike up and kick you.
Yeah,
there's like 50 of them, so you can't really dodge all of them.
I don't know. To me, it's like stay mobile, you're good. But like, here's my other thing. Like with the duck-sized horses, a lot has to go wrong for it to go out of your favor. Whereas with the duck, only one thing has to happen. It only has to get you one time, and the fight's over. Like, it gets your arm and its bill, and it like tears that thing out. It's over for you. You're not winning that fight anymore. Whereas, like, the horses, like, it's going to take a lot of kicks to get you down. And like Devin said, like, this has to happen, this has to happen, then this has to happen. Like, there's so many things that have to go wrong for you to lose that fight.
Dude, really, it's just you going down once, though. If it hurts enough on your shin or hurts enough on your ankle that you're like, Gah! Or you raise one leg up because it's in pain, and then they go after the other one, and then you fall, you're just flat.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, that's the weird thing, because I just like, I don't know, it's easy to picture just stepping on them, like walking, just taking 50 steps and crushing them, but it's also like,
a lot of
I don't think it's going to be that easy, but like you're saying, like, I fall, I'm taking some out in the fall with me. Like a lot has to happen for that fight to go out of my favor.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's because like it's one of those things that's like right off the bat, you're like 50. When you really kind of think about what could go in either scenario, it kind of gets like blurry. You're like, well, actually, when you really kind of think about this, it's hard to call it right off the bat.
Well, like my other argument too is like, what environment are we fighting it in, right? Because like
we're both picturing public park.
Public park, I'd say duck stays in the water, you lose, right?
You fight them in their original form's home location. So the 50 horses would be in the park, but the duck-sized horse, you're in a horse pen. You're just at a barn in the horse pen, and dude, you and the duck. There's not weapons and saws you can grab.
Dude,
in the barn. It's so, like you and the duck.
Here's the argument now. So if you're going by that logic, okay, I just go to the park. Well, it has to have water in it because we're saying it has to be in that environment. Has to be at least a foot deep. back up into the water. They come at me. I'm just drowning each one of them. Like, at that point, the leg kick is negated.
It's a possibility. I mean, at least...
Yeah, might have some unhappy park goers at that point when he's over here drowning miniature horses in their river or their creek.
Okay. They're also... I don't think there's some kind of, hey, stop that. They're probably like, what did we just witness? I've never seen a horse that small, let alone 50 of them, fighting a guy in a tap-out shirt and knee-high socks in our public park. Like,
no pants or shoes, just a tap-out shirt and knee-high socks in this river.
The socks are giving me grip in the water.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's
full hog out.
Oh,
full hog, dude.
He's at least wearing a jock strap to, like, because you take one horse kick to your nuts, dude, that's TKO. A horse kick to your nuts.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah,
my argument still stands, though. Now it becomes a game of, like, okay, I'm just going to go in the water. If they won't come in after me, I'm going to slowly start picking them off from the shoreline, like, easy.
Picking them off?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like you could probably get your foot on it and like toss like a soccer ball into the water. Like,
yeah, like I'm going crocodile style now. If they won't come into the water after me, all right, I'm going to lurk up to the shore, catch one of them slipping, and he's going into the water with me. And I don't even have to be deep enough. All I got to do at that point is just hold him under the water. It's over for him.
And then you just put another fight on your hands because now the gator comes up from the water. Why is there all these horses in my house? And you're like, whoa.
Nah, he's eating the horses, bro. He ain't worried about me.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's free food.
Hopefully.
It's free food,
lean
bro.
Meat, man.
I don't know.
Lean meat. They're tough.
Dude, something interesting
I don't think a crocodile cares.
I saw a video of this, like, it was like a gazelle, and it was getting, like, ripped apart by these, like, wolves or coyotes or something by it. Like, I guess that's where you go. There you go, hyenas. And, like, it was by, like, this hippo in, like, a river. And, like, the hippo came up and, like, took it from them. And they, like, backed up real quick. And it looked safe for a second. And then once they back up, he just, like, chews on it for a little bit and then just throws it out like a rag doll back to the wolf or the hyenas to die. This is poor life. For the food. Yeah, get out of my swamp,
dude. Hippos got no chill, bro. Like I don't mess with. Like you think they're all cute and cuddly, and then everyone knows the fact that like they are super deadly. They're territorial as well. Like hell, I want
to see a hippo go against like 3 platypuses.
Dude, hippo wins that.
Platypuses
easy.
Don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Wait, not a platypus. Wait.
Are you talking about your fire-breathing dragon that you described last time?
Dude, I thought of a fantasy animal again just now. Never mind.
No. What's that fantasy animal?
I was thinking of the platypus bear from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my god.
The giant bear that looks like a platypus.
I know what you're talking about.
Hippo. But yeah, that's not real, so.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're just feeding the platypi to this hippo.
Yeah, I'm like, why? And then on top of that, I'm like, why did he pick 3? Like 3 was the magic number that swayed it.
They can get information. They can get their poison hook on them.
Dude, okay,
what?
so
dude, in my mind, I was like, "What the hell, bro?
How big do you think that?" Yeah, I was like, "How big do you think?"
Like a platypus is like this big. Like they're not huge.
Hey, that's smaller than a beaver, bro.
Yeah, it's a relative of beavers, dude. It pretty much is.
Man, dude,
oh
that's crazy.
You're not.
What if it was like a couple mongooses? Snakes.
I don't know why you're picking these tiny animals that are far outweighed by this thing.
Okay, so like a rhinoceros is what we need to take on
that would
hippo.
Be a fight.
I still think
rhino. I don't know. It's tough to call. Rhino.
Hippo has more like
to
tools.
Be honest,
to work with,
I don't think either of them live from the fight. To be honest, I think they both just maul each other. They both can't survive from the wounds.
Stalemate.
All right, so we got a free for all between a hippo an elephant, and that thing. I already forgot what I was. A rhino.
It depends. It depends how good the elephant's feeling that day, man. Because I've seen them chuck some animals using their tusks.
Yeah, that's also another thing. Is it pre-poachers or after poachers?
After
yeah, they're both.
They're all three post-poacher animals.
Oh, hippo.
Then
wins.
the hippo's gonna win because the rhino gets his horns cut and the elephant has no tusks.
Yeah, the fight's over at that point.
Hippo has a jaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd have to be pre-poached.
Okay, so then
Pre-poached, dude, honestly, I still think the rhino loses. Like, I think rhino loses, like, so bad.
Well, okay, so elephant and hippo.
Dude,
rhino taps out first.
I don't think hippos will kill an elephant. Because they literally don't do it. Like, I don't think this ever happens. So I think it's just the fact of, like, the elephant's got so much size and weight on it that it won't mess with it.
What was that old website where you could bet on insect fights?
It was literally like insect fights.
Yeah, it was or insect wars or something. But yeah, it was like fighting a little arena, a little octagon. Yeah,
bro. I remember
why
showing y'all about that, bro.
Why was that okay?
It's insects, dude. No, like it's literally the argument that it's an insect. So like the thought process is like, I kill those in my own home, so I don't care if they kill each other. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like that disconnect. You know what I mean?
It's
weird.
Like, it's so beneath me on the food chain. But I get. Yeah, if I see a spider, I'm gonna kill it. If I see a scorpion, I'm gonna kill it. But it's like, why is it okay that we can pit them up against each other too? Is it because we all mutually agree like nobody eats these? Because people eat them.
I think it's mutually thinking that these animals like. It has no nurturing side. Like, insects do not nurture. 90% of animals that were like, oh, you can't be mean to that. It's because they have a nurturing side. Whereas, like, I don't know.
I was just wondering, like, okay, so, or, like, psychopathic kids or whatever, like, they kill, like, small animals or something like that. But as a kid, if you kill like a fly or like a mosquito or a June bug, they're just like, oh, little Johnny picked up a bug. Like the other day when our buddy was over, and I was like, dude, your son just took his first life. Like he just killed something, but it was like, oh, that's cool. Dude, but if it was like a frog or like a rat or something, would have been like concerned.
I would almost think that it comes down to the fact of, like I said, there's no nurturing side to an insect.
What's nurturing about a frog or a rat, dude?
They care for their young. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like there's like a mental disconnect. Like when I
just feel like the size of it is just so big. We're like, we probably shouldn't kill that. That's just too much.
I don't know. People kill tarantulas.
And
they freak me out.
But that's the thing. Like, people keep tarantulas as pets, and they love them. They crawl on their face.
And people snakes.
Right. So it's like, where is that line get blurry of like, yeah, if my son like choked out a frog, I'd be extremely concerned.
Yeah.
What's weird too?
Is it because it has so much meat to it?
Well, like I don't think it's
but
that.
But if you saw him like grab a grasshopper and throw it in a spider web and watch it get spun up, you'd be like, "Oh, he's just learning about nature." Like
I'd be confused because that's pretty thought out.
I used to do that as a kid. I used to do that as a kid. Like I agree with Quentin. I think it does kind of come down to nature to a degree. Like
just like learning about it.
Yeah, whereas like breaking a frog's leg or something like that, there's nothing to be gained from that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to be gained. Whereas like you're killing a bug, it just doesn't matter. Like,
dude, imagine he goes next door and like snaps like your neighbor's chicken's neck and brings it back to him. They're like, here, I brought home dinner. Just in a shoebox.
Well, extremely concerned.
Like,
but like that's the thing. Like it's like bugs, insects, and it's like.
I think it's I think it's that disconnect in humanity. Like I don't know. So, like if you can tell the animal is feeling pain, I think that's what it kind of comes down to.
what chicken like run around and with its head off
Yeah,
and like screaming and stuff.
I'm not saying that
if the child killed a chicken, would we let it slide because we all regularly eat chicken?
No,
or would we be like, no, that's not okay?
It's here's where to me it all comes down to kind of context, right? Like if this is the thing you do on the farm, like we kill for our food or something, it's not an issue because hey, this is par for the course. The only thing you might get in trouble for is like, hey, bud, we still need some of those chickens around, or else we can't like have food or eggs and stuff like that. Like we don't kill those, we kill these. If it's like, oh, he just walked onto the neighbor's property and killed a chicken, it's one, where did he get this idea? Because I didn't teach him how to do that. And two, he just stole and killed a neighbor's animal, so now I have to go and replace that.
Dude, you just said something that kind of blows my mind. I never even thought about that. Where kids that like the very rare cases where kids like murder things, or if they murder another person or human being, like where do they get that idea? If they're never exposed to it, is it just like a natural thing?
So
like a human second like this just kicks in, like this is what I'm gonna do.
So that's like there's like a whole scale of like things that help determine if a kid is having like problems or could end up to be like the serial killer, like that checklist that they created for mental disorders, and that being one of those major things. It's not that that's the only thing that they do. It's that there's all these other things, and I believe the like rating theory on it is most of it comes from like childhood trauma, stuff like that. And most of the time, they don't come from a well-off home or a stable home. There's typically infighting within the family and stuff like that, or they're like really, really abused. So I wonder if it's just part of them trying to understand what their parents get out of abusing them. So maybe they take it out on something smaller than them, and maybe that's where they try to make the connection. Is like, what do they get out of this? Well, let me try it on this. No one will really care or take notice if this is gone.
That makes sense because they're trying to replicate what their parents are doing.
Yeah, they're trying to understand it, maybe.
Yeah, see where the dopamine or whatever, the happiness they get. But so that made me think of, I saw this like a 15-minute video, but it was like this guy, a Vietnam veteran, talking about in Vietnam, how everyone that he killed, if he could find their body, he would cut off their ears. And he said a lot of people did that, and he would collect them. And he was talking to this interviewer, and he's like 60 or 70 now, but he was talking about how like people don't talk about the real side of war, and that he was like, I know I'm probably not the only one. I might be one of the few that admit it, but he was like, it's a weird, I guess like you say, disconnect, but he's like, almost kind of enjoy it. He's like, I would compare killing someone or taking a life to having sex. That's what he said, his words. He was like, that's how the euphoria, like how your mind feels, I guess. I don't know. And he was like, a lot of us did like coke, marijuana, drank a lot to deal with after effects of taking a life. But he's like, in the moment, he's like, it felt natural. Well, I was like, that's really crazy.
It's because it's beat into you like a drum from the beginning. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I mean, especially in like boot camp and stuff like that, you are taught it is them or you. Like, that is not another human being at the end of it when you're in that conflict. Like,
it's just crazy that like they deal with the trauma afterwards. But he said in that moment, it feels natural, like sex. Like it comes that natural. It's just like you have the power to take this life, but I don't know. I mean, I've never done it, but just how he was talking about it, like that's really interesting.
No, like it was a common thing for they had small people that were like roughly my size. Like if right now that was going on, I could probably qualify for it. But they had what were called tunnel rats, who essentially we found it. You go in, maybe 1 or 2 man squad. You're clearing out this whole thing all by yourself. You're looking for booby traps, everything like that. And like, I forget where I've seen it, but I've seen a couple videos of them talking about it. And they're like, yeah, you get addicted to killing. Like it was so much fun. You have no idea. Like it was just a great time. And I think it's also part of that thing of like, positive reinforcement as well. Like, you're around it, everyone's like, holy shit, like, you did that, hell yeah, bro. Like, if you make it from one end of the trench to the other, and it's like, yeah, I killed like 15 down there, everyone's like, hell yeah, dude, like, that positive reinforcement.
Well, so they asked. Oh, go ahead.
It adds that, like, that reward factor to it, and you have a community that's chasing the same thing, and now it's gamified, but it's like, you're like, well, this is what we do here in this part of my life. So, he got 15, he got 16. Oh, he got 16, but he did it with this gun, or this way, or in that way. So then now it's like a progression.
I don't even think it becomes competitive like with your that. Peers. I don't think it's that. It's more just like, I am this good at my job. So as Devin knows, like, I'm really into listening to like the Jocko podcast and stuff like that, and I listen to those things to kind of understand what our soldiers go through and stuff like that, and try to get a comprehension of what they like, how their brain works and why it works a certain way. But the number one thing that sucks for them, and that I've noticed consistently about anyone who's been like injured or anything like that, it's that they failed to do their job. So like, you look at the Medal of Honor recipient, Dakota Myers. He looks at it as the worst day in his life because he failed at his job. He does not consider it a success. He thinks of it as failure. And then like, he had another combat engineer who was a Marine who essentially got blown up by an IED while doing his job. And his specific job is to find and disarm IEDs. And he's like, even in all of this happening as he's being hauled away, in his mind, he's just thinking about the fact that, like, I have to abandon these guys because I failed my job. I don't get to be with them and help them out and save their lives because I screwed up.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like it would, at least for me, I would think, I would imagine it would be more so the camaraderie, the brotherhood, or the companionship you have with your fellow soldiers or your higher ups that you're letting down. Not so much like, oh, I messed up my job, like more like I let down people that I care about, you know, and I'm not going to be able to have their back anymore because I'm out.
Well, so like
that can be two in the same thing though, like that sense of community and then that progression, and then they've lost their sense of purpose. Or no, they didn't lose their sense of purpose, they failed their sense of purpose. His sense of purpose was, I am good at this. And you just said his worst day ever was the day he was bad at it. That was like,
I also think like Vietnam's just a whole different animal just because of how many draftees were in it. So like, I think that's a completely different animal in and of itself. Because like, most of the guys who are in Afghanistan and Iraq and all that, most of them pretty much say that like, while they're there, they're like, it's a tough job. Somebody has to do it, and that's why I do it. They're like, it's not because I care to be a hero or anything like that. It's a tough job. That's why I'm doing it. Like, they do it solely for the job. They're like, yeah, I mean, we did this, we beat the enemy, but like the gratification they get out of it is almost like I outmaneuvered that guy, I outthought him. Like, I am just better than him. But it's never like a joy thing. Like, I never get the sense of joy from those people, except for the fact of like, we did our job. Like, we were really good at our job.
I mean, I would imagine everyone joins for their own individual reason, but there's probably a couple of general reasons overall that everyone can relate to.
I think like it just kind of comes down to that human nature element of like having something to work towards, feeling like you're good at anything. I mean, dude, when I worked at Starbucks, I felt like a god when I was fast on the bar. You know what I mean? But it wasn't my life purpose to be a barista. But at that time, the community around me is all baristas. That's all I knew because, it's what you work in. And, like, you're, like, in tight, cramped spaces. And then, like, watching myself level up to knowing literally nothing about that how to make a coffee, to just like, I can make anything on the menu and I can do it. I'm probably the second or third fastest here. Like that, not saying what I'm doing is on par with war vets, but it's that same mentality of I came from nothing. I'm here. We're all on an even playing field. We're all away from our families and home.
Mm-hmm.
And then they find their purpose, their job at that time, and they just want to be good at it,
Mm-hmm.
outmaneuvering or the IED or whatever. It's that same, no matter where you put people, that's what they're going to do.
But I also think it comes through a different subsect of humans, right? Like, we've all met that person that slacks off at work and doesn't care about it, but we've all met that guy that, like, no matter what the job is, for some reason he wants to do it for, like, till perfection. Like, there's just that inner drive. I think that's a difference for me with a lot of people, is some people just don't have that drive.
I would also say that, like, belonging, you're saying, like, a sense of community. I think a lot of people find their purpose by feeling like they're part of something bigger than themselves,
Mm-hmm.
or even that community. Like, especially, I would imagine, in the military, and I know people that are heavily into, like, church and stuff, like, they feel, you get a feeling that, like, you're doing something, you're doing your part to help change the world or your area of living for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bigger than you. So, but
okay, so so the church people, like, they feel like that's their thing. Everybody wants to impact, everybody wants to have a sense of fulfillment and purpose. So so some people are like hardcore junkies about that. Like, some of the people on my social media, they go Sunday morning service, Monday night service, Wednesday night service, Saturday morning if they have that available, or if they have like a Thursday night concert, they'll show up for that. Like, they're always at church, but they feel like that is their sense of purpose and community of everyone around me.
Almost their duty, bro. Almost they feel like their sense of duty.
Yeah, it's a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
They feel like that bigger
like they're
sense
called
of change.
to do it.
Yeah.
And if they don't
calling is to
spread
do
the word,
this. Yeah.
And if they don't spread the word and do their part to grow the community, they failed. If they don't live the ideal life that is, within the confines of their religion, if they don't live to I failed, or whatever. So it's always going to be.
Yeah, I do think, though, not everyone, and I think it's pretty plausible that not everyone is like hopping into the military or religion or whatever the case, some trade or something with like the idea of like, this is my purpose. Like, I feel like a lot of people fall into that accidentally. I mean, there's people that join the military right out of high school. They're like, I just want to leave my state, or I just want to go see some stuff. And like, then they find their life, maybe way years later, or someone to sign up for like a mission trip. Like, I just want to leave. Like, a lot of the young people, I feel like, I just want to get out of my town and go see stuff. Mm-hmm. They're not like, I'm going to go change the world. Maybe that comes, later. But
well, I think it also depends on what you're like. Some people do it because they have no sense of direction. Like, I have the coworker I work with him being a veteran and everything like that. Like, he talks about what he was before, and he's like, no, the military changed me. Like, I'm a lot more regimented. Like, he got something out of it. And I feel like same thing with like people who go on mission trips. Like, they get something back out of it, like, that helps develop them in a formative year, but they're getting to do it by their own choice. Like, they're choosing to go do that thing. So they're a little bit more receptive to that change and that influence that comes.
They're progressing further.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that.
Yeah. Also, to the degree of like the kind of the people that like, I don't know what to do with my life, so I'm just gonna go do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so something. Well, I'll explain. But the question you had for us, Wagner, I just thought of an answer.
Okay. Well, let's roll right into it then. So,
what are you gonna say? That's something though.
Well, so that's what I was gonna say. It's not necessarily advice, but so like, because we're on the topic. But my grandfather, I remember him when he was like 17. I think is when at that time, like right before he joined. Go ahead.
Hold on, start over, bro, because we kind of lost you throughout that.
Oh, crap! I don't know when y'all lost me. Well, okay, the advice thing, the thing you were okay.
So what is the question? Like, what is the preface?
So the question, pretty much, like what I was thinking about today, is like, what is one piece of advice that you've gotten? You may not know exactly where it was or when you got it, But what is the biggest piece of advice that you bring up like to yourself the most often? Like what was the most memorable and important to you?
I would have like one. I would have two, because the one I'm thinking of, I don't know if it's really advice. It's more just like a choice he made that I think about a lot. And then there is like a piece of advice I could think of. But
just
the choice thing, because we were talking about the military or whatever. But so at this time when he was like 17, he was making like triple what his parents were bringing in like monthly. So he's like doing good. And what he was doing is he was I think he was upholstering furniture he was like building furniture or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was pretty much like capped out. Like he had no way of like moving up any higher in this company he was. So he had a buddy that was like, "Hey, I'm going to join the Navy. You should join with me." And he said he was going to take a huge pay cut. But at the time he thought, he has like, I don't have a high school degree. I don't really know a lot. I'm going to be stuck here doing this if I don't go learn something. So he's like, I took that choice because I knew it'd progress me further in life. And that's where he discovered like his love for like, he liked to do electrical work because he became an electrician on the Navy. Like that's what he did. But I don't know, just the idea of like him taking, like his life was comfortable, but he took a risk because he's like, I need to progress like myself. Like I'm at a point where I'm like, I can just be stuck here in monotony. It's nice, but I won't do anything else. But that wasn't advice, but that story I think sticks with me.
No, I purely kind of see that as advice. Like I think me and Devin have had the conversation before. It's funny that the biggest pieces of advice is always the ones that are given unintentional, that are just kind of given in passing. So, like, for me, my biggest one is, I'm pretty sure it was my uncle that said it to me. He's like, there's one thing you got to learn in life. Either learn how to do it yourself or make enough money that you can pay someone to do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you brought that up. Well, my whole thing with the preface is like, it's hard for me to be like, this is the one, because there's so many different pockets. There's so many different pockets of my life. So like, if it was like, if you're like, well, the leadership career path you took, it would be one of my old leaders. One of the things that always reminds me is like, or one thing I always come back to is like, multiple ones, but I guess if I have to pick one, it was like, he's like, they always need to see the same version of you until they shouldn't. And that's something about that stuck with me. Because it's so true. So true. And then like, if it comes to like just career in general, or like doing what you want to do in general, best advice I heard on that was like, stop taking advice from people who haven't done what you want to do. That's helped me a lot, because the people who have not done what you want to do have the most advice for you. I'll just say, yeah, okay, that's great.
There's a piece of advice that you made me think of. It was, you can never in your whole life, I think he told me this when I was like 13 or 14, I was struggling with math. And he was like, never in your life can you rely on anyone to teach you anything. You have to teach yourself. Because I remember at the time I was like blaming my teacher. I was like, my teacher sucks. Like that's the reason I'm bad at math right now. That's my grandpa, and he was like, the teacher sucks or not. He was like, do not rely on people to teach you anything. You're gonna have to teach yourself. And I guess it's just because the stuff he lived through. But it's just like, you gotta read a book, figure it out. Like, no one's gonna hold your hand for everything.
Right, and that reminds me of another one. So when I was in journalism, this one has stuck with me greatly through a lot of things, but I had a bad interview, and I like stormed in the class and was like making a scene about it because I want everybody to be on my side because my interview sucked. And I was like, oh, this interview sucked. This kid was so boring. I'm just like making all these things about the kid that sucked. And one of the more senior people was like, the interview didn't suck. I'm like, yes, it did, because da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They're like, okay, cool. What question did you ask? And I was like, well, I said this and this, but it sucked for all these reasons. She's like, okay, So what questions did you ask? And it was like, that was when I clicked with me of like, it's on you. You have to own it. Like, no matter what you're doing, just own it. You can bitch all you want, or you can do something, because you're not gonna like, okay, great, you had a terrible interview. Your story's still due. What does that change? The deadline's still the deadline. What does that change? It's like, all right, you know what I mean? So like that stuck with me. Like, you're just gonna have to like suck it up and get it done, because that's like, when you get into the workforce, that blows people's mind. Blows people's mind that you would even fathom saying that to people.
Just figure it out, dude.
Like, yeah, and it's like I'm not trying to be a dick. I am just telling you, this aspect of the job today needs to get done. I'm not like I just need to communicate that to you. And like, it's so hard.
What's funny to me is you say that, but I take something else from that lesson wise than what you do. That's an interesting thing for me.
What is it?
So you're like, oh, well, that means that still, dude, doesn't matter. Got to get it done. I think of it as more as like a look at self-reflection and like looking at what part you had to play in that.
Well, yeah, it's like, it's the ownership of like, all right, Devin, if you want a better interview, ask better questions. So from then on out, never had a bad one. I'm like, okay, stop asking basic questions.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then just you carry that to everything else. Bad sales. Can't land a trick.
Well,
you can take that to everything.
Dude, I just remember I remember working with some people, like when you say, you just got to figure it out. We're working with some people who'd been with the company quite a few years and still didn't know where some like particular resources are that you're supposed to check like every day. And they're like, I don't use that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you don't use that? Like, what? You don't know what that is? No, I just asked my manager. They tell me. Okay.
Well, it's because the way companies teach, bro. It's like micromanaging leads to making bad leaders, and those bad leaders do the same thing. They micromanage. Like, you'll never build someone who's self-sufficient if you micromanage them.
And you also have, but the other problem is like, yes, there's a lot of that. It can make you stupid. Yeah. But also like, it's some people, like their personality, like they need that and they almost want that and crave that. They're like, I want everything structured for me. I want everything to be told to me how it's done, because that was their upbringing. They will do nothing on their own. They need the most immense amount of structure and detail. And it's like, dude, it's not how the rest of the world works, man. Like, I get you were raised that way, but you're 18 now. We're going to have to find some middle ground here. Like, you got to kind of move on. Like, I'm sorry you don't have a
find some middle ground after my break, bro?
I don't know, dude. I just can't understand people that can't be somewhat self-sufficient. Like, I don't understand, like, where these people lose this drive in them to just mess with things. Because, like, dude, when you're little, like, everyone starts off little. They all mess with things. Like, that's the way we learn to interact with the world, and we kind of figure things out. And then just at some point, it's taken away from some people. Whereas for me, it's like, dude, I always kind of like to fiddle with stuff a little bit. Like, if I got to jump into something, cool, I'll jump in. I don't have to know everything about it. I just need rough guidelines. I'll figure it out from there. Like, even with us starting D&D, like, I don't know everything about D&D. But, I'll figure it out along the way. Like, we'll figure it out. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, like there's this misconception you have to be an expert before you can start doing anything. It's like, bro, the person who taught you or the person you look up to still doesn't know everything.
Yeah.
You might come to find out years later the person that taught you was only one step ahead of you, and you're like, oh, well.
I feel like that's a school thing. Like, even though school's about learning, for some reason I feel like I got that from school. Like, you're already, well, when you're done with college, you're going to know exactly what you need to know to get into this specific job field. And like, it has nothing to do with that. Literally nothing. You're going to learn when you get there and get the job. Like, I don't know. It's that people make you feel like you're supposed to know. Like, I don't know. It's just very different when in reality, failing is progression. Mm-hmm. I don't know who told me that. That might have been you, Devin, actually, but that's a really good piece of advice. I feel like that was you. That without failure, there is no progression. If you're not failing, you're not progressing. Something like that. I believe that was you that told me that. But
I don't know. Might have said it in a video. That sounds like I said it in the skate video. I don't know. But
if you're not failing, you're not progressing. I was like, that's yeah.
I don't know. But the point is, I mean, whoever said it, it's absolutely true. And like, people are so afraid to fail, they don't start. But they also don't know what they're okay failing at. It's easy for me to fail at a lot of things because I care about like progressing, but you have to care about the thing. Like, I don't care to code. So if you put me in a room right now and was like, you're going to learn how to code today, I'd figure out maybe half of it. But as soon as I start feeling, I'd be like, this is just dumb. I don't want to do this. Like, get this away from me. But I'll fail on a skateboard all day. I'll fail at my current job. I'll fail at that. That's fun. That's fun to fail at, to try new stuff because I care enough. But people are like, I don't know what I care about at all. On top of, I'm so terrified of failure that I don't want to do anything. It's like, well, you're not going to find out. It's a vicious circle this way because you're never going to find anything out. You won't fail at anything.
I don't know. Like when you were saying about school quitting, I also feel like that's just bad teachers at the end of the day too. Like, I feel like if kids were told what school really is, of like, look, man, you're going to go to college, it's going to give you a rough idea of what you're going to do. A lot of this stuff is going to be learned doing the job. Like, I feel like just like this is like a foot in the door. You're going to have a kind of a limited basic understanding of how things should go, but a lot of it's going to be learned on the job.
I feel like, and I didn't even finish like 4-year college, but I feel like college was a lot of like, you're just going to learn time management and how to deal with bureaucracy.
And cool. Well, you think
that's a lot of what life is.
Yeah, but from what I hear from everything you told me about school, didn't you just pretty much not show up to a lot of your classes?
Yeah, that's what I said. I did not finish a 4-year school. Yeah, I only finished the 2-year one.
Well, even then, like my argument would be is like you never tried. You know what I mean? Like you determined it wasn't for you, which is fine. But I feel like the idea of like school and stuff like that when it comes to colleges is we're going to give you a rough idea how to do this. This is your foot in the door. Like with like the electrician thing, like you can either go find an electrician and start working for him, which you could do that. Or if you go to a school, it's going to give you a basic understanding. It's going to be different when you're on the job, obviously, because every scenario is different, but it'll give you a rough idea of what you should be looking for.
Ideally, if you had an entry-level job in your field while you were in school, that would be like the best.
But also, like, does college teach you time management? Because you either get it or you don't.
Yeah,
and then does college teach you bureaucracy? Because the time to learn the corporate game was high school. Because if you knew how to work high school, you know how to play the corporate game. Because it is mirror identical.
Well,
that's why I'm like, there's a lot of people high up in any field that works their way up, not going to college, right? And then there's plenty of degrees at the top because they transition job to job, whatever. That helps get their foot in the door, it does. But your time to learn that was
maybe not bureaucracy. I'm just thinking of like all the stupid hoops you have to jump through. Like, hey, you got to go get this signed by this random staffer that their title makes no sense in this building 3 miles across campus, and take that and get this stamped by this person that probably shouldn't have a job over here, and then run across campus over here. And I'm like, what is this?
That was your one.
I just laugh at the fact that you think it taught you time management. Because, like, dude, like you said, you didn't show up to have
terrible time management.
Yeah, that's
I'm not saying it taught me time. I feel like it was supposed to.
I don't think it, I mean...
But that's the thing. It didn't teach me that. I had it.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's a... I think you either have it or you don't when you go into that. Like, I feel like time management is something you learn while you're, like, younger and in high school. Like, for us, we obviously didn't get that from our school because, like, our school was vastly different than Devon's. Whereas Devon's was, like, how we've talked about, like, public school, private school, and how they're structured differently, with me being one of the few people that went through both, and Devon being with the same one, like, same thing, where it's a complete difference in the way that it works. It's like Devon's was very regimented. Like, you can fail out of his school. Our school, it was next to impossible to fail out of. And if you did it was crazy that you could even accomplish that. Because like Devon said, like, I had to have these work assignments turned in. Like, I had to spend time doing these. Like, he had to learn how to manage his time so that he didn't flunk out. Whereas our school, you had to try to fail out.
Yeah, you had to. You just showed up, and then even if you didn't decide not to show up, and you're like right on the edge of truancy, like, well, you can just sign up for this special academy and like click a bunch of colorful buttons, and you'll graduate before anyone else because you didn't try hard enough, and we just tired of dealing with you.
But the thing with the time management thing, even then, like you have to like. I mean, ideally, I guess from your parents, but like, I just like you have to have things. You have to want to prioritize stuff, because all I'm thinking about when I'm leaving school, because I was skating during those years, is like the sooner I get these things done, I'll have X amount of hours to do my hobby. I'll have X amount of hours once I get home. I can work on Photoshop. That's going to help me in yearbook, and then I'll have X amount of hours to do a workout in the garage on Dad's Bowflex. Like, I had priorities then because I cared about stuff, so that naturally forced me to find avenues to get this stuff done. So even now, I'm like, all right, if I get home at this time, I can hit the gym at this time. That'll give me this much time to hit the gas station and get waters. I will then go to the skate park. That will give me this many hours. It's just, you have to care to prioritize something.
Yeah, and even then, I would almost... I would almost argue that it has nothing to do with your parents. Like, it's kind of a self-taught skill. Because, like, I'm pretty sure Devon's dad wasn't on top of him about doing all this stuff and making sure he had all this stuff done. I'm sure his dad was like, hey, you need to make sure you're not failing out of school. That's your number one priority. Anything else you learn, good for you. Like, I'm sure your dad didn't care if you went to the skate park or not. Like, I don't think he cared how many hours you had to go to the skate park. Like, yeah, you want to make sure you can get there by this time. Like you said, like, self-interest in it. Because, like, for me, high school, I didn't have any of that. But as I am today, like, I'm very regimented when it comes to stuff. Like, I like order. I like things to be rolling smoothly. I like to have extra time. Like, I don't like showing up late. It bugs me. I can't stand it. I don't understand people that do it. Like, the fact that you, Quentin, can, like, roll into something 15 minutes late and just be chill. Like, inside, I guess it's, like, that little bit of anxiety for me. I can't be late. Like, I can't do that. There's just a part of me that mentally is like, you need to be on time. Do not ever be late.
And even here's the thing, even if it wasn't, like, skating and working out at the time, it was, like, before that, it was video games. Like, all right, bro, if I get my homework done, I can start video games. I can get like this many hours in on this video game today, and then I can go to sleep and do it again tomorrow. So I mean, it just comes down to all of those things.
Waking up early before school just to play a game.
See, I could never do that. I could never it's so weird to me that some people can do that. Can wake up early, have to go to work or go to school or something like that, and play games beforehand. I can't do that.
I've never really done it for work, but like when I was a kid, I would wake up maybe like 45 minutes earlier than I really normally did, and then just play a game for about an hour.
It
would suck to leave. I would like not want to actually go to school at that point, because then I'm like, I feel like I should just be chilling. It's like I'm already in chill mode.
Maybe it was that for me is like you said, like, you don't want to get pulled away. So for me, it's like when I game and stuff like that, I never start my day off doing that unless I'm going to do that all day. And like, same thing for like the evening. Like, if I've got other stuff to do that evening, I don't like to play games or stuff like that because I'm gonna just in the back of my mind, if I leave, I'm gonna be like thinking about going back and playing games. Like I'm not gonna be like I just don't have that ability to, like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's that for me is I don't like that feeling of when I leave and my mind's not fully there, and that's why I can't play video games before I go and do stuff.
Yeah, you gotta have a couple hours like slotted away.
Yeah, like, I guess regimented, but even then, like, let's say all of us want to go hang out at the skate park or something in the middle of the day. Like, I can't play games beforehand knowing that we're planning to go to the skate park. Like, I can't do it. Like, even if I have like 45, like I've had it before when we're all about like going to hang out or doing something. And it's like I wake up, I get ready, I'm all set and ready to go. Now I have like 45 minutes. It's like, well, I don't know what to do with these 45 minutes. Like, I can't turn on a game. I can't do anything like that. So it's like I will just pitter-patter around the house, doing really nothing, like maybe straightening a few things. It's like, 5 minutes has passed. All right, got to find something else to kind of mess with that's small and is not going to be a time investment. I don't know how to describe it.
You need time to move fast. You can't. It will like barely moves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like you can't get into the game, so you can never get out of it. So, like, I've played video games before school, and it threw the whole day off.
Yep.
It felt out of place. It felt like breakfast for dinner. It just felt so out of place because I didn't get all the way into it, so I never got out. So the whole time I was thinking about Guitar Hero all day. So same thing of like before, if we were gonna go skate or whatever, it's also like you have to get into that mindset too. I mean, I know every skater does this, or any hobby you do this. Before I go skate, watch some skate videos, like your favorite skaters. You get stoked and you're like, that's so cool, and then you're in that mode. Because same thing, like if you are gonna play a video game, sometimes before you play the video game, you're like, you type in that game on YouTube, and you're like, what's crazy in this game right now? It's like, that's really cool. I wonder if I can do that. Or it just gets you stoked to play the game, or whatever.
Dude,
then you get...
The only times that I could do that and play beforehand, and we would do this every time we knew there was going to be like a half day the next day, me and one other buddy would stay up all night playing Call of Duty. Like, we would play all night and pull an all-nighter. You get to like 7 or 8 in the morning, and we're like, all right, man, I gotta get ready. I'll see you when I get to school. Get showered, walk over to Quentin's house, go to school. Like, I remember those days. I had an outfit and everything. I had sweats on and just something simple like a tap-out shirt or something like that, and I'd just be dead the rest of the day.
At the Donies.
But, dude, I knew it was a half day, so it didn't matter. Like, I could only do it on days when I knew I didn't need to be invested in it.
Dude, I always wonder, like, if I could even have the patience to be a teacher, because I think about how much I slept in classes. Like, my first period and second period, I pretty much just went to sleep. Like, and I remember it was like sometimes like lifting up my head and looking around, I'm like, there's a good like 40% of the class with their heads down, and this guy's still up there talking. Like, if I was that individual, I'd be like, what the
I think it's the idea of I'm teaching to the people who want to learn or need to know this, and you just kind of accept, like, not all people are going to pay attention. Just like if you're giving like a speech or something like that, you just kind of understand not everyone's going to be paying attention to what you're saying, but you're saying it for the people who are paying attention because it's going to give them something.
Yes, that's true.
I'm sure first year teacher, they probably go after it like a mad dog. Second year, less. Third year, I'm about foot out the door. Fourth year, they're like, I'm over it. You sleep. I'm so whatever. And then probably not even fourth year. Probably by the end of their first year, they give up. And they're like, you know what? Your decision. You can fail. Don't care.
Well, to me, it also I think it also comes down to the type of teacher, too. Like, if the teacher's not engaging, yeah, I'm going to sleep in that class. Like, the ones that I stayed awake in were the teachers who were engaging. Like, even if it was like that one teacher that we hated from the home ec class that we took. I was engaged in that class because I knew we could go to war over something. Like, I knew I could have fun with it. Like, that person was engaging. Even though I think they were a horrible teacher and, like, had no business doing what they were doing, they were engaging. They kept me involved, just maybe not in what they wanted me to be involved with.
I mean, our English teacher was engaging, but me and our other buddy, like, he sat at the very, very back seat, and I sat right in front of him. And I would literally be turned around in my chair, like, back of my head is facing the teacher, playing Magic cards with him on his desk. Like, while during lecture or, like, while they're doing, like, you know, like, group reads or whatever. And I'm, like, looking back, I'm like, dang, dude, that was a lot of disrespect. Like,
there's there would be a line with me as a teacher. Like, I would be one of the, like, if you're going to sleep, I'm over it. I'm not fighting this battle every day. But to turn around, not face me, but be engaged enough to play Magic the Gathering of all games that takes brain power. Oh, we're having a fight.
Yeah.
Like, I will go to war over that.
Well, I think it's almost the argument of, like, I don't care if you sit at your desk and you don't pay attention at all, as long as you're not involving others. Like, I feel for, like, a lot of teachers, that's their big thing. As long as you're not actively taking away from somebody else or other people in the class, I don't care what you're doing. You want to draw on your notebook, that's fine. If you want to sleep, that's fine. You're not bothering anyone else. But if you start bothering and taking other students' attentions away, then it's an issue.
Which, for me, a game of Magic, you're
going to be... I mean, at that point, you're going to be engaged. And like, why would he play that turn 3? That's horrible. Why is he tapping that many mana? Like, God, this dude's deck sucks. Like, there's going to be that part of your brain that you're like, not only are they not paying attention to what I'm teaching, and 2, that was a major misplay. Why? Why would he play that? He played that wrong. Like, there's also going to be that level of you of like, you suck at it, so why are you doing it? Pay attention to this. You're never going to go pro.
There you go. That's probably how I squashed it. Dude, I remember one of my physics teachers said that to one of the kids that sat next to me. He knew I skated, and he was like a BMXer, and he wasn't paying attention. He was doing something stupid. The physics teacher was like, so-and-so, like, get it together. I need you to pay attention. And he's like, I don't need to pay attention here. I do BMX. I'm going to go to the X Games. And he looked at me for, like, confirmation. I felt him look at me, but I didn't look because I'm like, dude.
Don't drag me into this.
I'm like, I like this teacher. And 2, neither of us are going to the X Games, dude. Sorry. The teacher, like, snatched the thought out of my brain and said it. And he's like, oh, you're going to go to the X Games. He's like, I suggest you pay attention. How old are you? He's like, 16. He's like, yeah, you missed your chance. You'd already be in there by now. So let's get back to class. But I'm like, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. That's why I'm like, I'm not getting involved in this, dude. We already missed our boat.
Dude,
you don't have a shoe sponsor by 16. Probably not looking good, dude.
I also feel, though, that it's also like boxing with like an experienced boxer. Like, this guy has gone through all these insults with his buddies and stuff like that. Like, this is easy. Like, I've listened to like 16, like 15-year-old kids who come into my work and argue with their parents over stuff. And I'm just like, God, dude, you are getting verbally demolished right now in everything that you're trying to talk about. Like, you lack experience. I have experience. I know what you're doing and what you can and cannot do. So, like, him pulling that out, it's like the same thing with, like, trying to heckle a comedian, like an experienced comedian. They've done this 1,000 times. Trust me, they're going to outplay you on this one. You don't get to win these fights.
Well, dude, one of the funniest ones I can think of was the teacher was giving us a lecture, and everyone's quiet except, like, the guy 3 seats behind me is literally playing his acoustic guitar and singing out loud. And he's still trying to teach, and eventually he just stops, and he looks at him, and he's like, says his name, and he's like, and you wonder why you failed my class last 6 weeks. And everyone just started laughing, and he just, like, put the guitar down. I was like, dang. I'm like, he's probably just sick of it, though. Like, like, what are you doing, bro?
I'm sure there's also that part of, like, the teacher, too. Because, dude, I would hate it when, like, dude, the kid that had his guitar out, you're annoying to me. Like
the fact that
you are doing it,
he would sing vocal like while the teachers talk.
Just my thing is like you're clearly doing it for attention. I don't care. Like, it just bothers me. Like, no one else is clearly getting enjoyment out of this. Like, it'd be different, like, if the class was egging this kid on. Like, how you have the class clown and stuff like that. You have other people egging that on and enjoying it, so it feeds into it. I never understood the kids that would bring guitar, sit there, play it in the middle of class, and literally no one is paying attention to them, yet they're like, I need to keep going. Like, there's no reinforcement there. Like, why are you doing this? It bugged me so much, dude. Like, there's no one feeding into it. It is just them.
I just thought it was funny he threw his grades out there.
Dude, sometimes you gotta be savage. It worked, didn't it?
He deserved it. Bro, I would be serving these kids up if they want to try me. You kidding me? Bro, like, you don't know, like, yeah, you're 15, 16. You think you're clever? You're not. I thought I was clever then, too. I would smoke 15, 16-year-old self going back and forth. Are you kidding me? You don't know how many angles you haven't been exposed to yet. You don't know how many arguments your tiny little brain hasn't been punched with. Like, dude, the same teacher, like, this kid was going on this, like, he's like, I'm going to start wearing a jumpsuit to class. He's trying to be stupid. The teacher's just not having it. He's like, no, you're not going to do that. And the kid's like, oh, I'm going to get a yellow jumpsuit. Eminem had a yellow jumpsuit. And the teacher's just like, he's like, okay, well, he's Eminem and you're you. And it's like, yeah, shut up. He hasn't heard that angle yet. So yeah, you're like, you just got obliterated. Mm-hmm. It's like, you could have saw that coming if you worded it different.
Mm-hmm.
And you're you.
Well, dude,
like, it's not wrong.
It's just
you're not cool enough to do that.
Yes, like, dude, you don't want to joust with someone who's better than you and knows more than you. It's like when you meet that person at work that thinks like, oh, I can talk shit, I can brag on this dude, and then you just quick wit hit him back with something and you just stump him. And it's like with our friend group, our whole thing was messing with each other and insulting each other and stuff like that. And then I've met those people who, like, I guess y'all didn't get it as deep as we did. Like, this was an everyday thing for us for hours. You clearly only did this like once or twice when y'all saw each other. You just hit them with that one line, they're stumped, and they're like, yep, I won that. That was fun.
Yeah, like, I would, like, if I was a teacher in a bad school, I would be known for just, like, serving kids up. Like, dude, like, don't even. Like, why do you want to do this to yourself, kid? Like, in front of your friends, too. Like, it's going to get worse.
I feel like I'd get beaten down eventually. I'd be just so tired of doing that. I'd just be like, I don't know, like, they'd walk in and be like, hey, you know, you're fat. I can't say nothing bad, but, like, you know, like, just some insult. I'm just like, all right.
I see. That's where I feel like you're underestimating the willpower of Devin, who loves it. Like, he's got a love for the game, bro.
Yeah, and also, like, you got to also think, like, if it goes on long enough, that's now my reputation. So now the kids are going to start sharpening. All right, I'm going to hit Devin with it tomorrow. Now you got to stay on your toes and be like, all right. So now it's a game of who can finally get me.
Mm-hmm. It's Devin sitting there.
You gotta commit.
Yeah, dude, it's Devin sitting there. It's 3 hours of getting the schoolwork ready for tomorrow. The next 3 hours are studying insults. Like, okay, what if they hit me with this? Like, he's in the mirror insulting himself to insult back. Like, he's getting ready. He's practicing. He's shadow boxing in the mirror.
It turns out he teaches third graders. Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, tell your mom I saw her last night.
Okay, I'm just going and dunking on them, but they like dunking on them to the point that they don't know they're getting dunked on because the insults are like so explicit or like that they don't understand yet. Like, that's not cool.
Like, you're just a straight like asshole. Like the mean fat kid tries to say something, you're just like, lay off the Twinkies. Like, you just like, subtly an asshole.
I will say though, there are some kids that like there's just something in them because like we'd see it in school. Like I know Quentin's seen it a few times. Like you'd have that one kid mess with the one quiet kid, and that quiet kid would hit him with something quick. And you're like, damn, dude. Like, you talked about the fact that, like, that one kid ripped the headphones out of the other ones. It's like, dude, these headphones are worth more than your life. Like, bro, like, hits him with that quick one that's like, okay, that's actually a really good insult. Like, that's the thing about kids, bro. They've always got some heaters on deck. Like, there's some that, like, they've never gotten to use before, and it's like, this is perfect. I got it.
Been thinking about this all week.
Exactly. Like in the event this happens, because that's the thing people with anxiety do, is prepare these 20 mapped out scenarios that none of them ever happen. But when they finally land, they're like, I've been worried about this and I got it.
Dude, kids are quick, bro. Like
ready to drop the hammer.
Dude, I don't get it. Bro, so have y'all been looking into this whole, like, ERCOT thing with the fact that we might get power and stuff like that shut off during the, normal Texas summers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's like, you can't handle the cold or the heat, but this is the same heat we always have.
But we still want to leave our power grid how it is and not try to, get it up to par. But did you hear that he signed into law that he's going to continue building the border wall along the Texas border? So we have money for that, but not to make sure that our grid is stable enough to support us during a winter and summer.
Dude, I don't
know.
That
to me is just a way. That's a bad priority. Like,
that's outside.
I'd rather have electricity.
That's outside. I'm talking about every Texan's pissed off because they can't, because they're not doing it. Like 78, some people can't handle 73. Some people got to have the house at 68, which I think is just mad.
I went off, bro, because I got a text today from, like, my girlfriend who was like, oh, hey, they're suggesting this, and this for it. Oh, well, I'm still on my end, so it's going.
You got text today?
Bro, so I got a text from Victoria pretty much saying, like, hey, they're telling us to cut back our power usage and stuff like that. I immediately, dude, I went off in a text message, like, paragraph long of, like, dude, fuck them. They can eat my ass. Like, Texas is 100% the epitome of we want to be different just to be different. Like, it has no rhyme or reason to it. They just want to do this. Like, the whole reason we have our own power grid isn't so that we're independent. It's so that they could cut corners. That's all it came down to. Like, how do you build a power grid and as soon as it gets cold, you're like, well, we never prepared for this, but we handle heat really well. Like, we built it to deal with heat. And then heat comes around and you can't even handle that. So it's like, what is our benefit here? Like, why are we not throwing money in to fix this problem? Like, you clearly cut corners and you're being caught now.
Because we need a wall,
and this is only month one. Well, see, maybe the wall can help some of the heat stay out.
If they build it tall enough, it'll block out the sun.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe, like, stop some of the hot wind. But the thing is, like, this is only month one. We have, what, 2 or 3 more months of summer? Well, actually, no. We haven't even hit the
Texas,
first day
dude.
of summer.
Yeah, it's Texas. We're going till, like, August, bro.
Dude, August? What do you mean? We're going till, like, first week in November. It's still going to be, like, 80 degrees. We're going to be like, it's cooling down.
Yeah.
Well, 80 does feel good.
Yeah, 80's not that bad, but, like, dude, August, we're still dealing with, like, bad heat, bro.
I walked out of the gym this morning, and I was like, oh my God, it feels great. It's a great day to skate, but I can't skate today. I pull out my phone. I'm like, how hot is it? It's 87. I was like, oh my God. Like, that feels good now. After, like, the triple digits. I was like, that feels pretty good.
Dude, I can't stand it, bro. Like, it's at the point for me, like, I have to crack the windows. Because if I get in my car, dude, it's a convection oven. Like, I'm not trying to break a sweat just driving. Oh,
I sweat driving. And my AC's charged. It's like, what else do I need to do? Like, slice my seat open and like stuff it with like frozen peas and stuff and just like sit on it.
Oh, dude, nah. I've got like the worst part for me is like my AC will be so powerful in my car that I can't hear what I'm trying to listen to. So it's like I have to play the game of like, okay, I can turn it down now. Start sweating a little bit. I'm like, all right, kick it back up. Can't hear for the next like 5-10 minutes. Kick it back down. Like I'm playing the game of juggling it so I can listen and drive and be cool. It's horrible, bro.
Dude, my AC is so charged. Like some days, like it spits ice at me when I turn it on, and it's still not cold enough. Like I still sweat, and like when it does get cold enough to turn it, it's all pointless. But here's the other thing. Like I saw this other post. Like it's like because you're asking this ideally rebellious group of people to do stuff. Like there was a whole new list of like asking Texans stuff to do. Like one of them was like wear a 7-gallon hat instead of a 10-gallon hat. Just like it's just little stuff that like they would die on a hill over.
Dude, well, that's the funny thing to me is like the Texas government itself gets voted on, and the whole premise of its voters is screw everyone. I want to be able to do whatever I want. And then the Texas government's like, hey guys, we gotta appeal to your better nature here. We need you to do this. Like you have gotten this whole state in this mindset of we don't do anything that we're told. Okay. Don't tell us to do stuff. The moment they're told to do something, buck, baby. That's what they've been taught to do, and that's what they do now. And then it's like, well, we don't understand why these people won't follow it. It's like, gee, I wonder why. I wonder if it's the mindset that you built that the greater good doesn't matter. Personal liberty is what matters.
Hey, like there's like this like yellow, the come and take it flag. I saw this one that was like your thermostat and it was like come and change it. So like, yeah, like it's. Bro, nobody's doing 78, bro. Nobody's doing like 75 is like typical, like, and some people like they're like sweat at 7. Some people want to act like 72 makes them sweat.
Dude, for me, it depends on how long I've been in it. So like at our work, we keep it 72, 71 ish. That feels good to me. But like when I come home, like 76 is cool. Like I get cold when I'm home and it's 76 and I like that. Like I don't want it below that. But when I go to work, dude, 72, like I'm adapted. I feel fine. Like I'm not cold. But if I'm at home and it's 76 degrees, I can get a bit chilly from time to time.
I wonder like how far you could go. Like could you claim personal health reasons? Because it is proven that sleeping in a cold room does give you better sleep. Like sleeping hot, you wake up throughout the night and like you don't get your full hours needed, whatever you need for your body. Mm-hmm. So, well, I mean, if you like, what nth degree can you take it of like this? I have a medically approved thermostat pass that I can do this.
Dude,
some ridiculous
what's weird for me, bro, is like I have to sleep incredibly cold. Like it does not matter. Like we used to in my house keep the windows open during winter. I'd have a light blanket on me, bro. I'd still wake up drenched in sweat. Like I don't know what it was, but like I sleep incredibly hot, dude.
I sleep hot too, but dear Lord, Jesus.
Yeah, dude, it was bad. I would wake up and my shirt would be drenched, and I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I gotta shower and clean myself off after sleeping. Like, even though it's freezing in the house, like, I did not understand how my body got like that. So I wonder if it's just, when I'm asleep, I stay in the same position. Like, I just don't have a lot of movement when I sleep. So I wonder if it's just the heat efficiently traps around me.
Sleep is a weird thing altogether, man. Because, because I learned about chronotypes a few months ago, and I'm like, it's a doctor who made it. But I'm also like, is this real? Or is this something else to sell you something else? Because, it's like you're a wolf, a lion, or a bear. No. something. Yeah, I know there's bears. I know there's lions. I think the third one's like weird. Like it's way off, like a dolphin or something. But like Jeff Bezos would be a bear, and like wolves need less sleep and all this stuff. And they like it tells you how to like time your caffeine, when to work out, when to do this, when to do that. And it was like bears should work out in the morning because if it gets to the afternoon, they won't do it. And you should also quit drinking caffeine at 2. Wolves, there's all this stuff to like optimize.
I don't know, dude. I feel like that comes down to just personality. Like, you always hear the phrase like the early bird gets the worm, but not some night owls are extremely productive. Like it's just not that way. I think it just comes down to what like generality you can throw at people, right? Like there's probably like a huge subsect of people that are like, oh, you mentally think like this, so like you should probably do this. This is the best way to kind of capitalize on the way that you work as a human being, like your personality type. Like you should do this way. So like you're saying is like you should work out in the morning because if you don't work out in the morning, you most likely won't work out. I feel like that's just learning personality types and then just kind of being like, okay, here's 5 personality types that kind of grasp everyone in this. Here's your best method to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's because like you take a quiz and then by the end of it, it'll tell you, and then it'll take you, like you'll put in your email and then it'll take you, like for me, it was like, congrats, you're a bear. And it was a video on what it means to be a bear. What are the 3 chronotypes? And then now you're on an email list of like the sleep doctors, all of his stuff, which is fine, whatever. And it was like, you're most creative between these hours. And then wolves are most creative. It's like, it just breaks down what's the best time to do everything for your body type or whatever, your chronotype.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like, I don't know. I've had different parts of my lives where I had no choice but to go to the gym at night. And then I've had no choice to go in the morning. And there's other times in my life, like I had a late shift job. You know what I mean? Like I just had to adapt to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so it's like, how much of this is like actual science is actually going to do something, and how much of this is like a product?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean it's not very realistic because people are always going to sell you like a perfect quote unquote perfect routine, or like this is the best balance for all the chemicals in your body to receive at this time of the day and stuff. It's like, but realistically, it comes back to like what you and Clayton were talking about earlier, prioritizing and choosing to set time aside for working out during the day or playing a video game or writing or whatever it is. You're not going to be like, I don't know, just kind of like what you used to say about working out, Devin. Like you just have to, you're never going to find a perfect day to start working out. Like just start, like even if you're tired or after work before, like just go and then just keep going after that. You're never going to have like, all right, today lines up perfect.
I don't know, dude. I just feel weird about anything that's like, oh, here's this, you're this personality type. It's like, it's interesting, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's always stuff you kind of always knew about yourself to a degree. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they're all so broad. Like, I don't know. I look at them kind of like astrology. Like, they keep them vague enough. Yeah, vague enough that, like, yours always kind of makes sense to you. Like, it's vague enough that, hey, if I said this, and this, you'd probably be like, there are times in my life where that's happening. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they can keep it kind of broad.
Because like the zodiac and the Chinese birthday calendar, those 2 things are like they're picked from a lot in these types of things.
Well, yeah, like my thing is with like the chronotype too is like okay, do they preface like these chronotypes change? Because like at the end of the day, I'm sure if you took that a couple years ago or was out a couple years ago, you probably would have gotten something completely different.
Yeah, like that's the weird thing. Like, I mean, I like the Myers-Briggs personality test, the one with 4 letters, because I got ENFP. I got the PDF of the book. It's like over a 200-page book. So that was super interesting because it tells you like what career best fits you, what type of love life best fits you. Also, the other side of that, here's jobs that are terrible for you. Here's type of relationships you should avoid. There's all this stuff. So it was super interesting. The only caution I have about that stuff sometimes is like, how much of this, if I take all this in, will I be like, well, I can't do that because I'm an ENFP.
Yeah, are you going to build yourself into a wall?
Like, how many people do that thing of like, I'm INTJ and I'm not supposed to do this because that quiz that took, like, how much of it is like you're going to start changing based off knowing this information? Because like, I think I'm pretty sure I'm a bear on the chronotype, but it's like that's like the most common. But like ENFP is a rare one. But knowing being ENFP is rare can also skew you because you're like, oh, well, I'm a rare type, and then now you like, how much of it is like I have to live this way?
Mm-hmm. Well, like, I don't know. I feel like all that stuff kind of changes as time goes on, just like how your prioritization in life changes as you go on.
I think your personality is probably the most constant once it gets developed. But like, it also comes down to the question of like, well, what do you want to do with this info? Like, okay, you know your chronotype. You know you're most creative at this hour. You should have coffee at this hour. You know all this. You should sleep at this hour, at this time. What are you going to do? Like what? You're going to be the most hardcore guy that works at the GameStop?
Mm-hmm.
What is this information going to do? You know what I mean? Like, that's the question too, because like, is the Aura rings. I was going to like get an Aura ring and I was going to track my sleep. And then I watched a review on it, and that's what one of the doctors asked. He's like, you can do all this, but what are you going to do with this information? And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I'm just going to get better. What am I going to do for this information? I have no reason for it.
Oh, for
so
me,
like, why
it comes down to kind of that argument of like, if you're given the information, are you actually going to act upon it or not? I feel like that's always the biggest thing that holds most people back is like, if I could go through and tell you everything you're doing wrong with your life, how much of it would you actually change? Like, even given the information, are you willing to act on it? Are you willing to enact that change in yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I knew how imperfect my sleep was, okay, optimize it. I was like, okay, I sleep better now. What was the whole purpose of that?
Yeah, like where else did you benefit?
Yeah, like, okay, like, what do you? Yeah, it's like, are you working on something creative? Does that matter? Are you now on a more manual intensive job and you need to be more like what? Other than just being like a self improvement junkie, what are you getting? Because that is like that's a whole arena you can just sit in and watch forever. The whole self improvement genre, you can just do this forever, and I don't know. Like, all this stuff. So, like, yeah, like, what's the goal here?
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's never ending on self-improvement specifically. Because, I mean, people are always going to come out with, like, hey, this makes you feel this way, or at least it made me feel this way. You want to combat me on it?
All right.
Well, like, the self-improvement, like, thing itself is, like, probably never going to end, but I'm saying, like, if you get in that sphere, if you get into like that junkie mindset, like, but what are you gonna do? Like, okay, like, so like you did all the self-improvement, you organized your life, you got the orange light filters on your computer, you got the blue light bulb, like, you know what I mean? Like, you did all this stuff, you changed your diet. Why? It's like I don't know. I kind of do the same. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, all right, was this like, now if I do all these things, I can go do this. I can go this new career. I can start this family. If I do all these things, and it's like, oh, I don't know. I get off to the whole self-improvement thing. I just kind of, it makes me come kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I get what you're saying. Like, it comes down to like, okay, if you do these things, what are you benefiting? Like, what are you going to do now that you can do all these things? Like, are you going to actually take what that's given you and turn it into something? Or are you just going to, like, the same thing with, like, the habit building book you gave me. Like, even if I learned to build habits, like, hey, that's great. That's something I needed to do. But what am I going to do with that information? Like, am I going to use this to improve something else going on in my life? Like, it's broad, but even same thing, like sleep schedule. It's like, okay, well, I'm on a better sleep schedule now. What am I benefiting from that better sleep schedule? Like, am I now waking up at a set hour? I have more time to work on these things. Like, what are you actually doing with it? Like, if you just improve your sleep schedule, you still don't do anything with it. Like, oh, I improved my sleep schedule. I'm on a regular schedule now, but with the free time that I have, I don't read, or I'm not drawing. I'm not doing anything creative or anything to further myself past that.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's so like,
just do it feel good.
Which is, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I want to improve my health. I want to feel better. That's fine. That makes sense. You know, whatever. But I'm saying, like, also, like, there's some people that just have like stacks of self-improvement stuff, and it's like you were doing so much stuff, you were doing nothing. Like, like, all right, I wake up, I take a cold shower, then I meditate, and then after my meditation, then I journal, and then after the journal, I do this other thing, and then I hit the gym. And it's like, okay, your morning routine is now 4 hours.
Yeah.
Why? What all did you, like, that's like a chunk of your day.
You're doing way too many.
All those things are good. All those things are good objectively, but like,
maybe not if you do every single health trend out there. Like, I mean, you can't follow the life of a monk and an American vegan and a boxer and like all these different things, and then like an Olympic athlete. Like, they're all completely different lifestyles. They're all healthy in their own way, but you can't, like you said, you can't wake up, take a cold shower, and then meditate and then journal. But like those three things right there, like cold shower sounds like a military thing. Meditate sounds like a spiritual thing, and then journaling sounds like a psychology thing. Like, that sounds like three different types of like improvement, you know.
Yeah, and then after the journaling, I'll do yoga, and then after the yoga, I'll hit the gym, and then after the gym, I need another rinse off. I'll do a hot bath. Like, if you were to do all these things, like, what is the end goal? Because like there's a peak of like how clear your mind can get. Because like when I did the 72-hour fast, that was the one thing, is like I wanted to find out how clear can I really think. Past the 24th hour, pretty much flatlines. There's not like this extra uber level of like I'm gonna be able to see through walls, or like I'm gonna have this amazing thought. It's like there's a tap out point. Like there's you did it. All right? Like you did it. Like I just like, okay, if I meditated for 20 hours, I would probably peak at the first hour. There's not like, I don't know, like, I mean, that'd be crazy.
Past a certain point.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like there's cool. But that's my rant on that, kind of halfway. Not really.
All right. Y'all got else next topic y'all want to roll into, or should I throw another one out there?
You got one. Go ahead.
All right, bro. So, what do y'all consider the meaning of life?
Fuck, dude, I don't know. That's a.
It's like
I don't know, dude.
I mean, it's like I don't know. I can't say it concisely, but it is to experience it for what it is, and then to give back, make it better. Okay. For the next, make it better, and that can mean a multitude of things, right? That could just be knowledge passed down. That could be some people that are activists. They plant trees and stuff. That's cool, but it is to experience it for what it is, because you. Like I sent Schwinn the video. I sent the video the other day. It's like that's a beautiful way to put it. And like it's a dance, and like like Alan Watts said, he's like, it's a dance. Like when you start a dance, you don't pick a spot in the floor, you land. You just dance. When you like the point of a song is to the song be played, you enjoy the song, not just the end of the song. So
so
to experience it for what it is.
Okay, so that's your theory on it. So my theory is that there is actually no meaning to life. The meaning to life is actually whatever you decide is the meaning of life. There is no right or wrong answer in the meaning of life. Like, to me, it's like I don't think there's any meaning to life. I don't think that anything I do really matters in the huge grand scheme of things. So I like the way that I look at it is like you find meaning in what you find meaning in. Like, I don't know how to put it without making it so very like obscure, but it's almost the fact that it's so obscure that it's very specific at the same time.
I see what you're saying. I mean, the meaning comes from like, what you want to put meaning
in.
In.
So like that's my argument as to the meaning of life. Like there is no meaning. It's all arbitrary. None of it actually matters. Like Devin was saying, like you just experience what is here. Like that is what it is. Like that's his assigned meaning of life. Like I feel like that's what it is. It's like nobody actually has the same meaning of life as you. Everybody's is whatever they want it to be, and that's the answer, is that there is no wrong answer.
I can see that. That makes sense, dude. I mean, because just like money and stuff, people put value on it because they see value in it. So whatever your meaning of life is, whatever you see you find your purpose in.
Yeah, dude, that's like for Devin, like he said, it's like, oh well, you give back, you know, you take joy in the things that you have. It's like that's true. That is a meaning to life. Like, and for some people, it's thinking like, okay, I gotta go to church every Sunday. I gotta do this. This is the meaning of life. It's this other place. In actuality, like I just don't think there is any real meaning to life. It's whatever you assign it to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I agree, like, experience for what it is, because, like, if for some people it's, you know, I mean, if for some people it's just constant progression, or for some people it's, like, it's just, you know, having, if some people it's just love.
Mm-hmm.
They want to fall in love with a bunch of different partners. They want to go on a bunch of crazy dates.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have a bunch of kids.
Yep.
They want to travel. That's fine. Experience it for what it is, and that's, you know, whatever. You know, because I can't sit here and tell you that person that they're wrong, because they can look at my life and be like, this guy's a slob and he has it backwards, and I can look at them and be like, well,
yeah,
I mean, you're just a womanizer. You know, like it's like you can point the finger either way, and it's like we're both right, but we're both wrong, but we're both right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's so obscure. And I almost feel like it's a cheat answer, as there is no real meaning to it. It's whatever you assign to it. Like Quentin was saying, the dollar, it's like whatever you believe in, man.
Whatever you believe it is.
Yeah, well, that's why I think like every goal's the same, you know. So, you know, if you wake up to what it's supposed to be, then yes, you can enjoy life. I think too many people get caught up in that it's the end point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's not the end point. It's to get to the end point and look back at all the other dots, and then not be like, "Oh shit." Well, that's really the thing.
It's like
it's kind of like
what Andy said at the end of The Office, or I think it was Creed or Andy at the end of The Office,
Andy, bro.
Where he's like, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good times when you were in them. Like, you look back and you
don't know till you're past them.
Yep. Like, dude, it's like, it's poetic and perfect because it is right. It's like you never, like, you look back at high school, you think of all the things you did, all the great moments that were there. When you're there, you didn't, like, it was a good time. But you never thought it was like those were the good times. Like there's gonna be a point when we look back at this time of what we're doing, and we're gonna be like, man, those were the good times.
Yeah, no, and like that's like why it's important to be present. Because like if you're always thinking about the next moment, you never get there. So you're constantly living in a debt. You're constantly living in debt because you're like, well, I gotta get to this next thing. Oh, well, you know, I gotta get to the next thing. Oh, I gotta do this. You're never actually there in the moment. So like, yeah, you gotta live in the moment, because like, yeah, you don't know. At this point in your life, you should know. Mm-hmm. You should know that you're not gonna know to a degree.
100%.
That like, yeah, you're gonna look. I'm gonna look back like 5 years from now and be like, when I lived in this part of Texas, oh man, that was the easy part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now, if I look back 5 years ago, I'm like, oh, that was the easy part. So, or whatever whatever. So like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're muted, Quentin.
You're on.
My bad. It's also like human nature to romance nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like some people romance certain memories. I feel like just nostalgia in general, you're gonna remember it in a positive light. Like your memories that your brain cherry picks.
Mm-hmm. I do think that's what's weird is like, even though we're like, it's almost a contradictory thing. Like, you know how it's like, oh, they say 1,000 good things, but that one bad thing is the thing that sticks with you. But it's almost like your memories work differently to a degree. Like, you always remember the great times. Like, I never think about like how stressed I was like the last year of high school. Like, I don't think about things like that, but I think about all the good things that were in there.
Because I mean, the stress isn't relevant. What's relevant is the positive memories.
Mm-hmm.
There's also this weird fantasy like everyone has in the back of their mind sometimes of like they don't want to think about right now, or like they kind of just brush it off. It's because like they think there's like this weird point in their life when they're going to be old and they're just going to be able to do all the things that they had waited their whole life to do. And it's like, you don't know how you're going to get there, but everyone feels like they're just going to strike it lucky, and they're just going to be like, yeah, well, once I'm old, then I can calm down and enjoy all this stuff. And it's like, I mean, you don't know how you're going to get there. You don't know if you're going to make it that long.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you're going to be into the things you're into. And you're also going to be too old to do them. That's the crappy part. So it's like, but that is in the back of everyone's mind. You're like, man, if I just push hard right now, do all of it later.
Yeah, for sure. All right, bros. Y'all got anything else y'all want to discuss, or y'all good?
Good.
All right. Quentin, where can they find us?
NobodyNamedKevin podcast on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
All right, guys. Links are going to be in the description. Thank you for listening. This has been Nobody Named Kevin podcast, episode 18.